Ba-ba-ba-da-bum, bum-ba-da-ba-da-bum. Hello, everybody. I'm not sure why I'm singing Godspell music, but there you go. Day by day. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to do our Wednesday night sacred pipe ceremony. So I'm sitting here in my office. I kind of checked last night to see how light or dark it was at 8 when we get done, and it was still kind of darkish. So we'll see. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so, I'll be able to start going outside. Hey, Shauna, good to see you. So hopefully I'll be able to do ceremony out on the riverbank coming up in the next couple of weeks, which is always awesome. But since we're inside, I've got the virtual campfire going. I don't know if you can hear that when I'm doing ceremony, if you can hear the fire crackling and the crickets in the background, but I figure ambiance is awesome. So thank you for joining me. Welcome. So if there's anybody new who has never been to a pipe ceremony before, a little bit I'll explain what it is and what I'm doing and everything like that. But the first thing I want to do is set up sacred space. So whenever we're doing ceremony, we want to set sacred space, and counter to what some people think, it's not to keep out all the evil spirits. It's more, instead of being focused outward, it's more of a focus inward, and it's creating a container of energy and light around us, calling in the spirits to hold this sacred container around us so that we don't have to pay attention to out there, so that we can take the world off our shoulders, right, and focus inward and relax and open our hearts, not be in protective mode. So it's more of like the way that you cook a meal when you put different ingredients into a pot and you cover it and you put it on the heat so that the ingredients can blend, and it's like this alchemical thing that happens. That's what we do when we create sacred space. We're putting everything in that pot and letting it simmer. So here is the way that I set that sacred space. Spirits of the earth, spirits of the air, spirits of the fire, spirits of the water, spirits of the upper world, spirits of the lower world, compassionate spirits of the middle world, the Fae, the spirits of the land, the ancestors of the land. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for holding us in your love and your light. I love what it feels like after setting sacred space. I always can breathe a little bit easier. So, again, welcome everybody. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman. And besides being a shaman, I am a sacred pipe carrier. And what the sacred pipe, the tradition that I was taught comes from the Lakota, and where 19 generations ago, White Buffalo Calf Woman came to the Lakota people and presented them. I'm going to move this candle so I don't start my pipe on fire. White Buffalo Calf Woman came and presented the pipe to the people, taught them the meaning of it, how to utilize it, and gave a total of 7 different ceremonies, including the sweat lodge, the sun dance, different things where the pipe was the center of all of those ceremonies, because the pipe, the stem of the pipe is the divine masculine, and the bowl of the pipe is the divine feminine. So when we put the pipe together, it's like an ignition of magic. It's the ignition, it's the arrival of spirit, arrival of creator. It's basically the masculine and feminine put together, like all of creation. So it's like holding the cosmos in our hands. And so when I put the pipe together and until I take it apart is one giant prayer. Because of that presence, when we put the pipe together, it is this arrival of Great Spirit. And so it creates this channel straight to Creator. So once I do put the pipe together, just be aware of your thoughts and your intentions, and I don't want you to be hyper vigilant or anything. And I just realized I haven't turned the ringer off of my phone yet, so hold on one moment while I do that. There we go. I forgot to do that a few weeks ago, and someone started trying to call me in the middle of the ceremony. It was awkward. Anyway, so when the pipe goes together, it is holy. Like we just set sacred space, and when we put the pipe together, it kind of fills that space. It's the presence of spirit, presence of the divine. And so everything you think or intend or pray is exponentially that much more powerful. But it's kind of, we hear those things and then we get all freaked out or worried about, oh my God, I just had a bad thought. Oh crap, there was another one. The thing is, this isn't something that's new. Like it's like when you learn about things like the law of attraction. It's not that you learn about it and then it starts. The law of attraction is something that is always in place. You've been using it your entire life without knowing it. And so it's just a matter of changing the percentage of higher thoughts to lower thoughts, right? So like when I put the pipe together, it's not like you have to be hyper vigilant and focused on, oh, was that a good thought or a bad thought? If you recognize that you're thinking of worry or you're thinking of something negative, it's like meditation. When you realize that your mind has wandered off, you just gently bring it back to center. And there's no judgment. It's not going to manifest something bad in your life because you've got this pattern of thought and beliefs that has been serving you for so long. And learning about these things is about shifting to better, like Abraham Hicks talks about, better feeling thoughts, reaching for a higher thought, for a better feeling thought, so that you're not losing ground, but you have, you're gaining ground by changing the way you think and believe. So that said, the reason I started doing this, I started this back at the beginning of the pandemic, when the world kind of took a turn for the weird, and there was so much unprecedented things going on, and I wanted to give people that safe and sacred space where they could come once a week, in the middle of the week, and just let go of all that crap that they've been carrying, connect to spirit, or at least experience stillness. And that is why I started doing this. That is why I keep doing it, because it is so important. We're not taught to seek stillness. We're not taught the importance and the lusciousness of stillness, of silence, right? And this has been coming up in a number of readings this week already about, we can't be constantly active. We can't be constantly seeking the answer, seeking healing, seeking this or that, because you have to have downtime to integrate those things. Otherwise, number one, you're staying totally in your head. And like they say, you can't think yourself to enlightenment. You will never get to nirvana or enlightenment or whatever you want to call it through thinking. It has to be experienced. And if we're constantly seeking, constantly looking for that path ahead, constantly trying to read the horizon or whatever, then we're in our heads and we're focusing on something outside ourselves, which is okay as long as we're taking time to allow that to sink in. Otherwise, we're just doing the hamster wheel. And then healing or seeking or learning is pointless because you never arrive. There is no destination. There is no end point. And so you just become more and more exhausted and more desperate to reach that thing, whatever that holy grail is for you. You just become more and more desperate to reach that. But the thing is, whatever you are desiring, whatever it is that you are longing for, that longing itself is a gift. That longing is telling you that you're aware of the lack of something. And you can't be aware of a lack of something unless you know what it's like to be complete with that something, right? And so when you're desiring something, or you're passionate about something, that's a good thing. That's the compass telling you which way to go. And the other thing is that all that stuff out there that we are seeking is actually inside of you. You already got it. You wouldn't be able to even conceive of it if you didn't know what it was. And we tend, like in our society, we tend to think about abundance as money and cars and relationships and all that kind of stuff. But all of those outside things are just there to reflect the feelings that are inside of us. Oh, I keep freezing, Shauna. I haven't noticed any glitches on my end, so... Although I did notice, I was on my laptop earlier and it kept kind of doing the circle of doom kind of thing, so I'm sorry if it's glitching, but hang in there, please. If you need to, you can watch the repeat if it gets too glitchy or freezing or whatever. So Whatever it is you are desiring is already within you. And what you're desiring is not the object or the situation. The thing that you're actually desiring is the feeling that that object or situation reflects in you. That's why you can have endless amounts of money and always be afraid you're going to lose it. Because when the money itself is the goal, there's no fulfillment there. But when you realize the reflection of the abundance within you, the feeling of completeness and wholeness, your connection to the universe and having all your needs met, you don't need those outside items to feel those feelings. In fact, part of manifesting is actually bringing up those feelings without having the outside evidence of what you're trying to manifest. And when you do that, it's inevitable. When you can hold those feelings without actually having the item or situation in front of you, you just connected to it within you, and so the outside has to reflect that somehow in some way. So anyway, not sure how I got on that subject, but I guess I was supposed to talk about that. So we're going to do pipe ceremony, and what it will look like. The first thing I'm going to do is light some sage. I think I want to light a little bit of, oh, I love that, a little bit of sweet grass. And I'm going to smudge everything on my altar here. And then I'm going to take my pipe, I'm going to say a prayer, ask permission to smoke in this place at this time. And then I will put the pipe together, and then I will put 4 pinches of tobacco into the bowl. And that part you will hear out loud as I offer the tobacco to the different directions and spirits. And I was kind of thinking about that the other day, about, that offering and what actually is happening. My guides gave me the image of a cotton candy machine, right? It's like I've got this pinch of tobacco and I'm going around the circle collecting. It's like those spirits, their energy is being collected into that little bundle of tobacco, which I then put into the pipe, and then we burn together to release those prayers and release that energy. So you will hear that part is out loud, but I'll be using my inside voice. But then when I'm done with that, White Buffalo Calf Woman, who I mentioned earlier, has actually been a guide of mine for around 15 years. And she gave me a song to sing before each ceremony that I facilitate. So I will sing that prayer, sing that song at that point. Then I will actually light the pipe, and again I will offer the pipe to the 4 directions, to Father Sky, to Mother Earth, in a circle for all our relations, and then to Creator. And again, it's like presenting the pipe. I'm presenting the mouth end of the pipe stem to those directions, to Father Sky, Mother Earth, to let them smoke with us so that they're present here with us. And then when I'm done with that, I will hold the stem to my forehead and the bowl to my heart momentarily for a silent prayer. And I will come back, relight the pipe if I need to, and then the first thing I'm going to do is take a great big puff and I will blow it straight at my camera. And that is a blessing coming from my heart through the smoke And then through the magic of the holographic universe and the internet, that prayer, that blessing travels through inner space, through the interwebs, through whatever device you're watching this on, and to your heart. So that is the place where you do think your biggest, bestest thought or pray your biggest, bestest prayer. And then I'll continue to smoke and blow different breath blessings for different intentions to different guides of mine. And I will send prayers for different people who have asked me to pray for them. And then when it feels complete, I'll come back. I will say another prayer. I have a song that I will sing, and then we'll take the pipe apart. And that'll be the end of the ceremony part, the pipe ceremony part. And then I usually, like I did earlier, kind of get on this this wave, talking about something. My guides will speak through me or give me things to talk about. I never know from one moment to the next what that's going to be, but it usually turns out to something pretty powerful. So I hope you will stay with me for that as well. And then when we're done, we will release those. The spirits that are holding space for us right now, release them to return where they came from. And we will have a good night. So I am going to momentarily, I'm going to take a little bite of banana. I can feel my blood sugar dropping a little bit. I want to make sure I stay conscious for the ceremony. All right. So here we go. Light some sage and some sweetgrass. May you walk in beauty in a sacred way. May you walk in beauty each and every day. May you walk in beauty in a sacred way. May you walk in beauty each and every day. May the beauty of the fire lift your spirits higher. May the beauty of the earth fill your heart with mirth. May the beauty of the rain wash away your pain. May the beauty of the sky make your mind to fly. May you walk in beauty in a sacred way. May you walk in beauty each and every day. May you walk in beauty in a sacred way. May you walk in beauty each and every day. May the beauty of the fire lift your spirits higher. May the beauty of the earth fill your heart with mirth. May the beauty of the rain wash away your pain. May the beauty of the sky make your mind to fly. May you walk in beauty in a sacred way. May you walk in beauty each and every day. May you walk in beauty in a sacred way. May you walk in beauty each and every day. Grandmother, grandfather, eagle, we send a voice we ask permission to smoke in this place at this time. All our guides and guardians watch over us as we smoke. Creator, Earth Mother, Twaban, Shanadisi, Vajakiwas, and Wabus, there is always room for you in my pipe. Creator, Earth Mother, for the two-legged, the four-legged, the winged, the crawlers and the swimmers, all our relations come smoke with us. Grandmother Moon, Grandmother Ocean, to the energy of birth, growth, maturity, the spirit realm and our ancestors, may all the passages of our lives be in harmony and grace. Creator, Earth Mother, to eagle, coyote, bear, white buffalo Catwoman, bringer of the pipe and the law of good relations to the people. Okane, Bayama, Okane, Bayama, Okane, Bayama, Okane. Okane, Bayama, Okane, Bayama, Okane, Bayama, Okane. Yo. Okane, Bayama, Okane, Bayama, Okane, Bayama, Okane. Yo. grandmother, grandfather, eagle, we send a voice. Thank you for our lives. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for the eternal watching over us, guiding us, holding us, loving us unconditionally without agenda or judgment. Thank you for who we have been, for who we have become, and for who we are becoming. Aho. Ihi-la-ihi-o, 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 ihi, ihi, ihi-la-ihi-o, 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 ihi. Aho. Ooh. Oofda. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So that is my version of the sacred pipe ceremony from what I was taught and what my guides have taught me. It is still the most sacred ceremony that I know of. That's like the deepest heart space that I know of. Wow. And I guess I say again, oofda. So I hope that was enjoyable for you. I hope you were able to still the chaos of the world and feel your heartbeat again. For me lately, the main, just in the last few days actually, I mean, I can see the pattern of things leading up to now. So it's not something that just happened out of nowhere, but the last few days especially, my focus, what I've been learning is how, I guess, and it kind of fits with what I said earlier if you were here before the ceremony, about how when we're seeking, when we're trying to manifest that thing, we're pursuing something, we're actually pushing it farther away from us. And sometimes the same is true with different traditions, or, you know, when we learn different traditions and different techniques for different spiritual modalities and pathways and stuff like that, we can become those same things that at one point free us because they help us to reach for something beyond what we've known before. Those same structures can hinder us, and we're constantly needing to expand beyond our comfort zones, expand our sense of ourselves, our sense of our relationship with the universe, the relationship with the earth. And we get caught in doing, you know, making sure that we're saying the right words, and we're invoking the right spirits or deities, and making sure that all these, outer things, again, are correct, and we forget about the heart of ceremony, the heart of tradition. And there's a need to, no matter how sacred the tradition, no matter how long it has been in place, how do I say this? At some point, we have to reach beyond anything we were ever taught. Whatever traditions, whatever the structure, the framework, the scaffolding that has held us in place, at some point we have to step away from that, because the true spiritual path is the inner path. And a lot of practices are about gaining information, right? We even in shamanism, we journey to our guides to get information, to learn about something. And just like I said earlier, you can't think yourself to enlightenment. If you're learning about things, you're not going to get to enlightenment. It's when you start learning from things. Hi, Marcy. It's because the spiritual path is a relationship, just like shamanism really is the relationship between the human and their spirit guides. Both are necessary, and so it's the relationship between those two things that is really what shamanism is, or whatever spiritual path you're following. It's your personal relationship with nature, with the spirits, with the earth, with your ancestors. And we treat things, we get caught into things like dogma and thinking it has to be done a certain way and this other way is forbidden or whatever. But the things that have been passed down to us, again, how do I put this in words? Our ancestors and our guides are not giving us information as much as teaching us how to find our relationship with the divine. It's relational. And we keep chasing that certification or chasing that knowledge, and that's all up here. That's all mental, which is fine. There's nothing wrong. We are humans. We have brains. We have egos. But it has to sink in. It has to become experience. And experience becomes wisdom. And each of us has a different, unique relationship with Creator, with God, Goddess, all that is, whatever you want to call source. But we each have our own personal relationship. And so it's great to have the roadmaps of the ancestors and traditions to kind of lead us in certain ways, to support us, to take our hand and say, come this way. But at some point, we have to let go of that hand and find our own unique role in this matrix, in this soup of energy, this spirit soup that we live in. Because all the things that our ancestors knew, they knew from personal revelation, direct revelation. They were connecting to Source, and then they would express that relationship, and it would come out as stories, as traditions, as ceremonies. But those things are not meant to take the place of personal experience. If we're just going through the motions, doing something because that's the way the elders taught us, that's the way the ancestors did it, then we're skipping the most important ingredient, which is our own heart. And that source for enlightenment, that source for personal fulfillment, I'm trying to think of a better way to put that, but that source that our ancestors drew upon to create the beautiful traditions we have, to create the cultures we have, to create the stories and the mythologies that we have, that same source is available for each of us to tap into, to find our own way. There's a story I heard about this woman who, every Thanksgiving, she prepared her turkey the way her grandmother and her mother taught her. And one Thanksgiving, she was just, this is so hard. Why? In her family tradition, they had to cut off both ends of the turkey before putting it in the oven. And it was just passed on that way, generation to generation. So finally, one Thanksgiving, this woman calls her grandma and says, why do we cut off the ends of the turkey? And the grandmother was like, because when I was doing Thanksgiving dinner, my oven was really small and I couldn't fit the entire bird in the oven. And that's kind of what we do today when we skip the heart, when we're doing all the actions and the saying the right words and reciting the right rhymes and doing it exactly how our ancestors did it. We're leaving ourselves out of it. We're cutting off both ends of the turkey when our oven is so much bigger than our ancestors. So, and I'm not saying to abandon all your traditions, abandon all the spiritual teachings, abandon your teachers, abandon your ancestors. That is not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that within that, our place, our purpose in this world is to tap into that same source that spoke through our ancestors and create our own mythologies, our own traditions, our own ceremonies. One of the most powerful things I learned from Sandra Ingerman, who's been my teacher for a long time now, one of the things we do, actually we did it in a couple different workshops I took with her, is we journey to find out our own creation story. Because for so many people, and I know for I always felt I always felt a personal connection to God. I was raised Catholic and Jesus and Mary and everything. And at the same time, for so many people, the whole, old man in the sky looking down doesn't resonate. It puts God out there, and then it's like the Father that we have to please. We have to atone for everything we did wrong. And so we fear judgment. We fear, that's where the whole good and evil come in. And so we, in the class, in the workshop, we journey to our guides and ask them to show us our own creation, take us to witness creation, to create our own creation myth, how we personally relate to Creator. Because if you can't relate to Creator, to Source, it's supposed to be a relationship. And if you can't relate to it, then that's kind of the state of our world, where everyone's running around trying to figure out what they're supposed to be doing, what's right and what's wrong, and how are they going to be judged, and how are they going to be punished, and and so it's important to have that personal connection, and to realize that that same creation that happened eons and eons and eons ago is still happening. It's still fresh. That Source is still available to us each individually to tap into. So that has been what I have been doing this past week, especially the last few days. Tapping into a depth of being that intellectually I knew was there, but all of a sudden it's seating in me, seating, like when you have two parts that seat together, that fit together. It's taking hold, and that is become my focus. In fact, this coming weekend, I'm going to go spend a few days in the woods by myself to kind of deepen that connection, to deepen that relationship, to find out what is my personal connection, relationship with Goddess, with the divine, with Source. So I encourage you to step outside the bounds of what you've been taught. Know that truly the answers are all within you, that you are connected to the divine. You are divine. You are a facet of that divineness that always has been and always will be, in a constant act of becoming, in a constant act of creation. There's no less divinity available to you now than there was to our ancestors thousands of years ago. It's just as immediate now as it was then. And our traditions, because it is a relationship between us and Spirit, it has to evolve. It has to be given the space to grow and to evolve and to breathe, rather than being limited because of the limitations of our ancestors or our teachers, or, you know, it's like the student is meant to surpass the teacher, right? Our ancestors, what parents or grandparents don't want their children and grandchildren to do better things than they did, to have better ways than they had, right? We have to honor our ancestors, honor the traditions we're given. And then that next step of honoring those traditions is using those roots we were given to branch out, to reach for the stars as far as we possibly can, to do things and explore things that our ancestors never knew about or couldn't conceive of. And then we become the ancestors of our descendants, giving our descendants the inspiration to reach within and find their own mythologies, their own creation myths, their own relationship with spirit. It is a living, breathing, organic thing. And if we're just going through the motions, we are doing ourselves and the world, our communities, a disservice. So put your heart into it. Bring your heart into it. Do what feels good. Do what feels fulfilling to you. That is your tradition. You can add it on to the traditions and ways you've been taught. You can tweak things so that they make more sense to you. You can use more modern mythology. Maybe rather than talking about the gods, you can talk about superheroes or whatever the new current mythology is, right? Putting it into terms that we can understand. So, aho. Oofta. All right. So, coming to the end of our time, but before I close the space, I wanted to remind you that I am available. My job as a shaman is to support my community who supports me. It's reciprocal. And so I am here to help support you on your path, not to tell you what to think or how to approach spirit, but to help you find your own pathway to connect to spirit. I can share my experiences and what I've been through as a jumping off point for you to fly. And so you can check out my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, and see all the different shamanic services I offer, readings and healings and classes and such. And you can sign up right from my webpage to make a session with me, or you can text me or message me. And that is all I can think of right now. Oh, and please share this video if you know someone that it might be helpful for. You can tag them in the comments. Oh, awesome. You can share it to your page or wall. You can share it to others. Yeah, sharing is caring. And I will share this to my Perching Wolf Studios Facebook page, and I will also upload it to my YouTube channel, where you can go. My Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel, where I've got like 3 years worth of these ceremonies and readings and stories and songs and different things. It's a great resource if you need guidance, if you want us. You need another time during your week to sit in silence and stillness. You can pull up one of those videos, and it's just as vital if you watch it now as it is 10 years from now. we're in between the worlds right now. That energy doesn't change. In fact, even if you're watching this years from now, your energy, your perception of this ceremony is vital to what has happened here tonight. You are a part. This is a participatory thing. You're not just observing. You're not just watching. If you're seeing this, if you're listening to this, your energy is part of this ceremony. It is an integral ingredient to this magic alchemical soup that we're creating. So, anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening and watching and taking part. I hope you come back next week. Again, every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Pacific time. And I look forward to seeing you again. So let me release the spirits who have so lovingly held space for us. Spirits of the earth. Spirits of the air. Spirits of the fire. Spirits of the water. Spirits of the upper world. Spirits of the lower world. Compassionate spirits of the middle world. The Fae. The spirits of the land. And the ancestors of the land. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for holding us in your love and your light. Our work for now is done, but you are always welcome in our circles. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Aho. All right, my friends, thank you again for your love and your presence. You really do make a difference. And I appreciate you all. So I hope to see you next week. And until then, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right, bye.